We are live. All right, y'all. So, in this video, we're talking about the 5 words. I keep saying three because originally it was three, but now it's five. The 5 words that are red flags for a woman, for a female, excuse me, not a woman, because I distinguish females from women. Women are honorable. Women are exceptional. Women are daughters of the Most High. Women are like the um, Theocratos. Oh, goodness, I'll remember what Mary is. Um, but yeah, women are exceptional. They're important. They're valuable. Every single woman is beautiful. Every single woman is beautiful without fail, without without exception. Every single woman is beautiful without exception. Now, objectively, not all women are attractive. This is just a fact as well. It's objectively true that all women are beautiful. It's objectively true that not all women are physically attractive. Physical attraction is based on a lot of different things, but it's often in the eye of the beholder. So a man can find a woman physically attractive that 99% of people don't find physically attractive, and the vice versa is true. A man can find a woman unattractive that 99% of people find very attractive. Like, for instance, there are people that, in the 90s, when I was growing up, or 80s and 90s, well, Halle Berry is one of the 90s phenomenon. She was considered extremely attractive. I mean, yeah, for me, even as a kid, I was like, I don't know. I don't know. She wasn't that hot to me. Selma Hayek, however, cats me out. She was the one. She was the bee's knees. She was it. So Selma Hayek was definitely the it factor lady. But most people would have said Halle Berry is very attractive. Something about Halle Berry just seemed very, very wrong to me. Just unattractive. Same with who's that? Alicia Keys. A lot of people thought she was attractive when she started to pop back in the day. And I was just like, yeah, no, I don't see it. I don't see it. So just because a woman is physically attractive to everyone doesn't mean she's physically attractive to everyone. So attraction is the eye of the beholder. So got some people in the chat. Just say hi, hello, Demon Tail Bee Girl. Okay, welcome. This one is welcome to the show. This one is 5 red flag words that females will use. So if you are a female, if you are a girl, uh, I wouldn't say avoid using these words. I say use them because there's nothing wrong with using them. But this video is targeted toward men that want a specific type of woman. All right. So Vito, hello, welcome. We're gonna do chat for a couple of minutes and we'll get right into the topic. KB70, oh, I remember you. Can you help me? I have been dealing with depression lately and it's been really difficult for me. I am not a licensed therapist, psychiatrist, or medical professional anymore. I was never a licensed medical professional. I was certified. And I was certified in mental health, but I am not in that capacity anymore. I will highly recommend that you reach out to, let me find give me one moment, okay? BetterHelp. Now, they do charge a fee for the service. If you have funds, I would highly recommend that you call BetterHelp. As a matter of fact, let me just do that now. For KB70 patients, here's their information. KB7 700. I'm going to do okay. Okay. Let's see here. See, I haven't learned how to respond to stuff, guys. I'm sorry about that. See, I haven't learned how to respond to stuff, guys. I'm sorry about that. KB. Okay. So what you want to do, betterhelp.com, if you're dealing with really deep depression type stuff, and also, thank you so much for subscribing. Let's just handle this real quickly. What is something that you're dealing with right now that we can perhaps dig into shortly? That just if you feel comfortable putting it out there, just drop it in the chat. If not, that's totally fine. Um, I'm just going to send a prayer out for you, just in the sense of God sees you, God sees the challenges you are facing, but God also sees the solutions. God sees the path through the hell or the challenge, or the depression, or the down feeling that you have. I also want to say that I read a scholarly article about how depression is actually natural. It's actually a part of the brain doing what it's supposed to do. At certain times of the year, our bodies, depending on our genetics, depending on where our ancestors from, naturally go into a dormancy kind of a state. And if you're trying to work through that or push yourself through it, sometimes it can cause your body to respond more aggressively, and specifically your brain, the chemicals that are being produced by your brain, and cause you to go into an even more unpleasant state. So if you are pushing yourself too hard right now, perhaps that's what's causing the challenge. However, also, you may not be as active as you need to be. So check in with yourself, KB700, and see if that's what you need to do. If you need to get physically active, if you need to perhaps engage socially, perhaps going out to the store, going out to a park, but getting out. If you're in a room, kind of stuck and cloistered in like a room or something like that, it's like there's an energy there that just almost is like it's like a loop. You get stuck in this loop and you can't get out, and you've got to give yourself the strength. And I'm trusting God has given you the strength to get up and to walk out of that room and to just get either the fresh air or to the human interaction or something like that, so that you can pull yourself up and get out there. So KB700, please get out there and just love yourself. You're deserving of it. You're worthy of it. Why? Because the creator of the universe sent his son, Jesus Christ, in this world to be a part of us, to be one of us, so that you could be one with him. And I know it's very abstract for me to say that. It may not answer the pain that you're feeling right now, but I want you to know that the entire creator of the universe has you here for a reason, and that reason supersedes any and all things you may have encountered before that have led to your depression. So have hope, transcend hope into knowing, and may you just feel the spirit of God and the light and the joy of his presence in your life. Okay? So I just want to just let you know that. Stay strong, okay? All right. And thank you for subscribing so much, okay? I'm going to say hi to some others in the chat. Okay. Oh, Demon Tail Bee Girl. Your name is Clover. I love that name. All right. And then Vito. Welcome, Vito. And Azan Khan. Welcome. And of course, Jack Anderson, back from the last vid. Welcome, welcome. Oh, am I freezing up? I'm sorry, Vito. I hope I'm moving now. Let me know if I'm freezing up, okay? And Jack Anderson, welcome back. Silver watches for women. Can I have a shout out? Yes, silver watches for women. I love silver. Silver's a wonderful metal. So I'm sorry that I'm breaking up. I have 5G in full bars, so I hope if I'm breaking up still, let me know. I can move to another spot, but I have full video here. And it may have broken up because I went to get the betterhelp.com thing. I was trying to find a way to drop it in the chat or something, but unfortunately, I don't know how to do that yet. I'm going to have to figure that out. I'm doing it on my phone, so I don't have my computer. If I had my computer, I'd just drop it in the chat. But anyway, so if you guys are here, those of you that are here, we're talking about 5 words that women use that are red flags. And who am I talking to? I am speaking to young men that are looking for women to build an empire with, to build God's kingdom with in this world, meaning to start a family or to court for long-term relationships like marriage. And so if that's what you're looking for, be aware of these 5 words, because these 5 words or phrases are an indication that this woman is not long-term relationship material. She's not LTR material. She's not long-term relationship material. So these are the 5 words. We're going to go into it. Thank you guys for the likes. Keep dropping those likes as you're in there. And yeah, I gave a shout out to Silver Watches for Women. All right. And and if you're a woman in this chat, let me first say, look, these women are not bad, okay? Not bad women. They're not bad women. They're bad for you. Okay? It's like bleach is not evil, but it is if it's in your coffee. Okay? These women are not evil or bad or wrong. They are on a sinful path, perhaps, but there's nothing wrong with them that God can't fix, that you need to leave to God to fix. And that's why you leave them alone and you love them with Christianly love, brotherly love, agape, filio. Well, maybe not filios because you're not part of the body of Christ, but you say agape with love, pure love, and you let them go. Um, Stay away from eros with these women unless they are practicing harlotry and um, and they're providing a service in that way, and it's legal in your nation and it's safe. Okay, let's put it that way. And she's being treated well, and she's not being trafficked. Okay, there's so many things here. Let's get back into the freezing up. I'm sorry, I'm freezing up. My goodness. Let's see here. Am I freezing up? Freezing up. What can I do? I'll just close all the other programs on my phone. See what happens. Okay. Am I freezing up still? Am I freezing up? And let me know if I'm freezing up. If I'm freezing up, let me know. I'm going to keep going. Like I said, I got 5 bars or 4 bars and 5G plus. Yeah, I think 5G should be good. Okay. Good. Thank you, Jack Anderson. So these are the 5 red flag words. 5 red flag words. And this is for young men. And look, if you're using these words and you're a young woman and you want to find a quality man that has a Christian outlook and wants to really, start a family or do that thing or follow that path, make sure you're not using these phrases or words. And also make sure that you're not buying into the ideas behind these phrases. So let's start with the 5 words. Make sure you drop a like and subscribe and all that good stuff. Thank you guys for doing that who are subscribed. So the first red flag word, is trauma, the big T word. If a woman is using the word trauma, it's a very common word. Everybody's using it now. Everybody wants to have their trauma. Okay, I'm. It might be mine though. I have 3 bars. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, cool. I'm posting this full video later, so you should be able to see the full video later on my YouTube channel if you're subscribed. So, the first red flag word is trauma. Trauma. Whenever a woman starts talking about her trauma and the trauma, it says trauma. When she has a fixation on that big T word, trauma, that's an indication of a victim mind, a victim mindset. You do not want a victim mind raising your children. Because imagine, little Bobby didn't get his cookie. What's he gonna do? What? Lose his stuff. Okay, he's gonna lose his mind. He's gonna lose his mind. Why? Because he's been in mommy's body. He has incorporated the idea of trauma, the idea that they're a victim. I'm a victim. Look what bad happened to me. And now he doesn't have the fortitude naturally to just, okay, I didn't get a cookie. All right. Kids are going to lose their shit anyway. I mean, that's just what kids do. Okay. But there's a certain level to it. And you'll see kids that come from the victim world people and victim mind people that everything is, and they just can't take it. They're just falling apart. And so, trauma is the first word that you need to watch out for if you hear it come out of a woman's mouth. It might be yeah, okay. I have trauma. Now, okay. Now I'm gonna thank you for saying that, Jack, because let me clarify this. There is real trauma, okay? Real trauma. But I can tell you, a person who has real trauma doesn't talk about it. Now, I get it. In society, we all are, especially in Western society, America and West, whatever, we're taught to talk about our feelings and talk about all the stuff, blah, 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 right? We're taught to talk about all that. And that's okay. Okay, I get it. But it's a cultural thing. There are women that will talk to you about the trauma that their last boyfriend, who was a narcissist, oh, there's the other word. So it's 6 words now, y'all. Thank you. Okay. There's 6 words now. Okay, we're gonna have to change the title, y'all. 6 words, 6 words. Narcissist is the other one. I'll discuss that one later. So there are people that have real trauma. And Jack Anderson, where is your trauma coming from? If you are comfortable talking about that, because some people have done psychological work and they work through their trauma and they can talk about it. But I can tell you, I've seen real trauma, and I don't really talk about my trauma because I don't really believe I've had any. But I've seen real trauma. I've seen real trauma, and I know people who've had real trauma from like third world countries. I was married to one for a period of time. Okay, they don't talk about it. That's the big thing. They don't talk about it. My grandfather had real trauma. My dad had real trauma. I knew people growing up that had like real trauma. I knew a kid whose mother was shot to death in front of him while she was carrying him on her back, and he was covered in her blood when he was like 2 years old. And he was weird. Okay, he was very strange, and he was developmentally delayed, not because his brain had issues, but because of his real trauma. Okay, um, I known people that saw their families murdered in front of them. And I get it. You're not supposed to evaluate trauma, because everybody trauma's trauma. To everybody it's different. Yeah, there you go. So I'm sorry. I don't want to wake you up. See, Jack, you have real trauma. Okay, thank you, and I'm sorry about your trauma. You have real trauma. Okay, make sure you get support for that. Make sure you get help for it. Make sure you find a community of people that you can talk to about it. And I would highly recommend you not talk to your girl about it, unless she's truly compassionate, unless she's truly loving you and can truly. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with you not talking about it, because real trauma, Jack, you just demonstrated it. Real trauma, people can't talk about it. So if a girl sits to you and says, I have trauma. My last boyfriend was a narcissist and he used to leave the seat up and yeah, but it was trauma. No. If you're talking about it and you're not like literally breaking down, like in Jack's case, it's not. And again, I have to be careful with that because, again, look, we all are all different minded people. And some people, um, touching cotton like this can be traumatic because they're neurodivergent, like genuinely neurodivergent. Their brains operate differently. And so that can be trauma. So I do have to be careful because something very little to me could be traumatic to another person. Something very traumatic to me could be nothing to someone else. So we all have a different trauma. But trauma is, I'm pointing out that trauma is a key word that a lot of women I hear use these days, who when they talk about it, it's like, you told me this about your last boyfriend. What are you going to say about me to the next person? Oh, I was traumatized. This woman flipped out on me because I said I wanted to have 5 different wives and 10 kids. And she started crying and losing her shit. And maybe she was, I don't know, traumatized, I guess. But we were all laughing and joking as soon as I said that she loses her shit. Now, clearly, I was like, okay, well, I'm not ever going to interact with you ever again. And literally, I never interacted with her again. I just could not even look at her. I was traumatized. I wasn't. But I was just like, yeah, I don't deal with that kind of stuff. So when a girl uses, yeah, I'm trying to get my mom to get me in therapy. Jack, man, I hope you're able to find like real, yeah, because there is real trauma. Trauma is real. Trust me, it's real. But I'm pointing out the issue about like women that use it as a way to ensnare men and say, I have trauma. I'm a damsel in distress. Come and date me and give me all your time and money and energy, and then do things for me that I can do for myself or that I don't want to do for myself. And so that usage of the word trauma, I'm highlighting here. But Jack, and you can reach out to BetterHelp as well. If you're working, Jack, www.betterhelp.com is a really useful tool because you can switch between therapists. I don't know if you have your own job or your own access to money. Um, and I don't know what state you're in. I don't want you to put your information out there so you like dox yourself. I don't want you to do that. But um, what you can do is you can go to social services, you can go to some of the state and, believe it or not, welfare buildings and things like that, and they do have resources for people that don't have the funds to pay for therapy. I remember there was a period of time when early in my time being married to the ex, um, I did not have the funds to pay for therapy, which we definitely needed um, at that time, 1 year into the marriage. And because she had real trauma, okay, and we were able to get free therapy, which was vital. We went there weekly. So, oh, God bless you. You're only 10. God bless you. Whew, with you being 10 years old, thank you for letting me know that. I'm definitely not going to use a ton of profanity. And yes, yeah, you know what trauma is. I'm really sorry to hear that. I'm really sorry to hear that. Who could, mm, don't put your information out, okay? Um, if you go to school, this is another thing I've had to tell my children this because some of the things they've experienced. Um, if you go to school, Jack, talk to your teacher, talk to your school counselor. Talk to your school counselor. I don't know what state you're in. Do not put your information out. I don't want to dox you. But talk to the counselor at school and reach out to the people that have influence and that can help you. But primarily, look for your school counselor and see if you can talk to that person because someone I love very dearly, I have tried to get them in therapy. Hey, Two Duels, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. But getting back to Jack because this is very serious. I would highly recommend you talk to your school counselor and just say, look, I need to talk to someone. And this is the thing with school counseling, it is school counselors, if you're 10, um, are required by law. It is against the law for them not to make sure that you are taken care of. If you say, look, I need help because I experienced a trauma, a real trauma, and or you don't even have to use that word. You can say, I experienced something that causes me to have these feelings or whatever. By law, they are required to make sure you get the necessary help. So I don't know what state you're in. Like I said, don't put your information out there, Jack Anderson, but make sure you do get support. There is support for you, and there are people that will come into your life and that will help you. But again, stick with the mainstream kind of stuff. You don't want to go along with adults that could lead you astray or further the trauma or further the abuse. Okay, so or whatever happened. I don't know exactly what it was, but yeah. So if you like you said, your experience with trauma, anytime you try to talk about it, you cry, you break down, you definitely had trauma. Okay. So just get the help that you can. And I know it's hard. You're 10 years old and it takes courage. But I'm saying there's a school counselor, there's a principal, there's a teacher, there's someone that is a trusted, safe adult that you can go to and say, I need some help. I really need help. And they will step in. By the way, God will always come to your aid as well. God will send people in your life. That's what God has you watching this. But God will connect you with the people that can support you, that can be a mentor, that can be a therapist, that whatever you need. So, Jack Anderson, I love that you're using the screen name. Make sure you get that help because trauma is a real thing. Trauma is a real thing. It's a real thing. And I wanted to recognize this because there are a lot of women that use the term trauma and it waters down real trauma. There are people that have real trauma. And then, like, I've known people that say, oh, my trauma, my trauma, my trauma. And I'm like, tell me about it. And I hear it. I'm like, okay, yeah, everybody has their own thing. So, yeah, Two Duels, we're just talking about, yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't want to. So Jack was just expressing something, and again, I'll let you read the chat Two Duels, so that I don't violate Jack Anderson's experience or put it out there in that way. But I also don't want to stir it up again. And again, I'm not in a therapist. I'm not a licensed therapist, and I'm not working in that capacity. But I am encouraging Jack to go and reach out to someone at school that can actually be a support. So make sure that you get that, okay, Jack Anderson? My prayers are with you. I know that God has got you, and God never forsakes those who reach out for assistance. Stay in prayer, stay in scripture, stay in trust and faith, and reach out. Take the action to reach out to people that are trusted adults that are safe, that can help you where you are. And typically that's going to be in the school setting. I know schools are corrupted and there's a lot of bad things happening in schools right now, but God still has his people everywhere. God's spirit, God's presence is everywhere. And you will find what you're looking for, Jack. Okay? Make sure you try. Make sure you do. Okay? I've had to tell this to other kids that I know personally. I say, look, okay? So just keep strong, stay in, stay in support, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Okay, all right. So yeah, so this was important. This is a very important thing that came up. And again, look, I'm talking now. It's the 6 words, but with that first red flag word, and I'm gonna move on. Okay, Jack. If you need anything else, just let me know in the chat while we're going through the video, and I'll keep an eye out for your blue jay. But the word trauma that is used often by modern girls, I'm going to call them girls, like adult women, adult females, is often used as a snare. It's not actually trauma. It's something that they're using to kind of get the sympathy of a man and to also test to see if you are empathetic and are going to go along with their narrative. And it comes from a victim mindset. Like I said, I know people with real trauma. I have seen real trauma. Okay, I worked in the OR, I worked in the ER, I have seen real trauma. Okay, and these are things that your brain actually will erase the memory from your mind as much as possible, or anytime you get close to the memory, you'll have a very strong emotional reaction. And so those are 2 qualities of trauma. I didn't do a lot of trauma studying when I was doing the graduate work in mental health counseling. I stayed away from that subject matter because trauma therapy was not something I was interested in, because I'd seen enough of it. It was just too heavy for me. I just didn't want to have to deal with it. So, uh, yeah. So like that's the first word. So we went deep there, y'all. We went deep there, and yeah, we went deep there, y'all. So yeah, we went deep. We went deep. We're gonna keep going. I'm gonna go for a couple of more minutes here. Everyone, I'm gonna mention the other 5. Um, uh, uh, yeah, we're gonna mention the other 5 red flag words. Okay, but Jack Anderson, make sure you always just jump in the chat if you need assistance for the remainder of this talk. Okay. So, misogyny is the second red flag word. Misogyny is a red flag word. If you hear that word coming out of a woman's mouth, and this is, excuse me, a female's mouth, and you wanting to date her or marry her or court her into marriage, and build a family or build an empire with her, and you are a, conservative leaning guy, Christian guy, and you use the words like misogyny, and she uses it with like a misogyny. Red flag word. Do not continue that relationship. Love her with agape, the love of Christ, at a distance. Do not enter her into your personal life and develop a relationship with her that could lead to marriage and the offspring bearing, because that will destroy your life and it'll cause your children to have true issues and abuse and neglect and all of these things. And you'll be called a deadbeat dad because you've been kicked out of the family using law enforcement and legal action and these sorts of things. Okay. So really beware. The second red flag word is misogyny. If you hear a word say that, a female say that, that's a red flag. All right. The third word that is a red flag word is narcissist. If you are with a female, and notice I'm saying female, not woman, because women are elevated, women are holy, and women are special. Women matter. Women are so important. They are powerful. The daughters of the Most High. But if you're with an adult female and she refers to her ex as a narcissist, or her mother as a narcissist, or her brother or her father, or if she's referring to people in her life that have hurt her as narcissists, especially within the first couple weeks or months of knowing her, another red flag word. Unless she is a licensed psychiatrist And I know the DSM-5 has become something, it's like changed definitions and stuff. But basically, unless she's a licensed mental health person, a mental health practitioner, the word narcissist means nothing. This guy didn't want to comply with her wishes, so now he's a narcissist. Her dad was a narcissist because he wouldn't put up with her mother's BS. Well, okay, right? So just be careful of that, because when you break up with her because she's, illogical or unworkable or unrespectful, disrespectful or whatever, then you're going to be the narcissist in the next relationship. So that's the third word. Narcissist is the third red flag word. The fourth red flag word is patriarchy. Okay? And you've got to listen to the tone of voice that she uses. Now, if she's from Greece or from somewhere in Europe or Africa or Asia or something, she uses the word patriarchy. Listen for the tone. Women from other countries that use patriarchy are not going to be an issue, okay? Because patriarchy is a good, positive, useful thing. But if she's from America and she says patriarchy, patriarchy, like with that tone, red flag. Patriarchy is good for humanity. Listen to her tone. If she's using that dark, like negative tone about patriarchy, she is not for you. Remove her from your options as a wife, as a long-term courting LTR. She is not for you. Okay, and these are again, these are words that remove women from LTRs and being mothers of your children, etc. And it's not, again, these are not bad women. They're not wrong women. There's nothing wrong with them per se. They're just wrong for building God's empire on the earth, building, being a wife, being a lifetime partner, a long-term relationship, All right. The fifth red flag word is toxic masculinity. Toxic masculinity does not exist. Just doesn't. There's no such thing as toxic masculinity. Just like there's no such thing as toxic femininity. There are people that exist as jackasses and assholes. Like, okay? So toxic masculinity supposes that there's an element of masculinity that is toxic. And when you dig into that, you start to realize that the idea of toxic masculinity means that it's a form of masculinity that doesn't placate, submit to, and venerate females. We should venerate women because women are God's daughters. Women are exceptional. But no, we should never venerate females because it's like they're not holy. Women are holy. Women are righteous. Women are divine. Females are not. Adult females are not. Okay? So there's no such thing as toxic masculinity. And usually that term is applied to men who refuse to placate the feminist paradigm and buy into a lot of the lies of equality between the sexes. And the sixth red flag word that you want to avoid, if you hear a woman say this, she's not LTR material, she's not a mother material of your children as a son of God, and other things, is when she uses ambiguous terms for God, like universe, spirit, mother goddess, mother spirit, cosmos, airy-fairy ideas of God that have no firm foundation. If you're a Christian man and you want to have a firm foundation, you want to build God's empire on the earth, you want to raise a healthy, happy family, you want to stay away from women that use airy-fairy, unfounded, what's another way to describe this? Airy-fairy, unfounded, ambiguous terms for God. Because God is God. And if someone's offended by the term God, it's either due to ignorance, sensitization in childhood, maybe that someone used the word God and was hurtful to them, and so they were sensitized by that. I won't call it trauma because, like, again, the people that have real trauma. And so, I even spoke with a woman when I was out of the country, and she was like, I don't use the word God because it implies masculine and patriarchy and all this stuff. And so I used universe and spirit with her out of respect to her, but I realized that was disrespectful to God. And so if I find that instance in the future, I will kindly remove myself from the conversation, or I will understandably say, okay, that's really nice to hear. Thank you for sharing that. And so God is great. God is good. Let us thank him for our food. All right. So anyway, that's what I have to say about that, y'all. We're at 0 people. So I'm going to redo this video. Jack Anderson, thank you so much for being in the chat. Make sure you get the support that you need, okay, from um, from from trusted adults. And again, I do not want to encourage you to usurp the authority of your parents, whether your mother and father in the home. And again, like I said, reach out to the proper authorities because they have a methodology. They have a way of following through and making sure that they are doing their due diligence. They're respecting the position of your parents. Because like I've had to deal with these sorts of systems myself, and there is a there's a process. There's a due process. So be well, be safe, be blessed. We're gonna do this video again, and I've got some good notes now. So God bless you guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.